Hello and welcome back. Today on GloTalks, I have my first female guest. I'm very excited about it. Her name is Diane. She's a mother, she's an entrepreneur, and she's also a woman of God. She's anchored by her faith, and I'm privileged to have her on. Today we're going to do things a bit different. Hello, Diane.
Hello.
Hello. So today we're going to do things different. Like I said, I'm going to bring out a bottle of wine. Some of you may recognize this. Do you like wine?
I do like wine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. If you look, there should be a glass next to you.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna have a go at it. I don't drink much. I definitely don't drink wine. But for today and for my special guest, I'm gonna attempt it. Ooh.
This is a good bottle. I'm not a huge drinker, but this is a nice.
Is this the bottle? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's red wine, there's white wine, and there's pink wine.
So that's rosé.
Okay.
I definitely am more of a red wine gal.
Okay.
But I do like my rosé. So yeah.
Can I pour you some?
Yes, please.
Let me know when to stop.
Okay. That's perfect. Thank you.
Myself, son.
I love your glass.
Yeah, I mean, the budget got a bit tight. The budget got a bit tight. Ended up with one of them teacups, but...
So we have to cheers. We have to look
cheers,
at each other.
Is there like a special hand I have to hold it in?
No.
Any hand?
But we have to have eye contact.
Okay.
Okay, so when we cheers, you have to look at me.
Okay.
And what are we cheersing to?
You being the first female guest on my podcast.
Okay.
I'm very privileged to have you on here.
Thank you for having me.
My channel is very inclusive. I know my previous podcast, I've had a lot of male, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm very open to having females on my podcast, you know, and I hope there's plenty more females to come here and share their story. So cheers to that.
Cheers.
Thank
You're
you.
Not looking at me.
Oh,
we go again. Cheers. Damn. There we go.
I'm looking. Do I swirl it or... I did it in Italy. You decided to do it.
So delicious. What do you think? It's good, right?
It tastes like Lucozade original.
Do you know what? It is quite sweet.
Yeah.
My friend and my sister, they tease me and say that I like... What is that drink? Like it's like a Smirnoff kind of WKD.
Oh, WKD. Yeah.
They tease me saying that like I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to alcohol, but it has to taste good, you know?
See, I don't drink wine much or alcohol, but if I do, I like to put like loads of mixes. I'm a mixes guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm mixing it down because I like flavour and I like taste.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So tell me, what's the difference between red wine, white wine, rosé? What is there actual difference, or is it just different colours? Like, would you drink red wine for something else that you wouldn't drink white wine for?
So I think when it comes to dishes, red wine complements certain foods. But I'm not like an expert, so I have no idea. I quite like red wine, mainly because I've got siblings. Yeah. I've got 3 sisters and a younger brother. Yeah. And my older sister just loves red wine, and she's just so classy. I was like, I want to be a bit like my older sister.
Yeah. Red wine is a bit like classy, isn't it?
Demure. Do you know what I mean?
Very demure.
The word of the hour. So I started getting
very
red
mindful.
Wine. Right. I started getting into red wine more so because of my sister. Yeah. And I've just really enjoyed it. It's a acquired taste. Yeah. Especially depending on what kind of red wine you have.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask 3 would you rathers.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll start with this one. Would you rather have a 1-minute conversation with your past self or your future self?
What did you say? Past self?
Past self.
Yeah, same.
Oh, we're matching?
Yeah.
Why past self?
I think when the idea of going back into time, and I'm assuming I would be is my future self. It's my present self going back to speak to my past self, right? I feel as though I have a level of perspective that I wouldn't have had back then. So I can kind of encourage myself. I can tell myself things that I wouldn't have known at that time.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was to speak to my future self, I don't know what I would say to my future self. Exactly.
No, I know what you mean. Basically, same reason, really.
Yeah. Don't copy me, please.
No copyright. No, I'll definitely go back to speak to my past self.
Yeah.
And I'll probably just like tell myself, like, you know, you're calm, bro. Do you know what I mean? You'll be all right. Because the worries that I had back then, they were like magnified. Do you know what I mean? And I thought it's like much bigger than they actually are. When you get older, you realise it's really not that deep. Like life goes on.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's one of the reasons why I definitely want to speak to my past self.
Yeah.
I'll probably say just keep doing you. That keep doing what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because life, you can't write life, innit? And everyone takes different directions.
Exactly.
So have you seen The Butterfly Effect?
No,
the movie?
I haven't. No.
You haven't?
No.
So if I can remember, the butterfly effect is like someone changing something in the past which alters the future.
Oh,
I may be wrong. Let me know.
Do you know what? I know the concept of it now that you're saying, yeah. But the end still remains the same, right? The end still is what it would have been.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. So it's like, if I went back, I'd just say keep doing whatever you're doing. Yeah,
no, for sure.
The end could be different, but it might be worse.
Absolutely, and it's also about the journey. Like, you know, I saw this thing the other day, and the same way there's multiple ways to get to the sum of 10. So if I'm trying to do an equation, 5 add 5 is 10, 7 add 3 is 10. Like there's multiple ways to get to that answer. And similarly, there's multiple ways to get to your end destination. Yeah. And just because you may not take the linear path of like 1 to 10 or the chronological path that may get you to 10, it doesn't mean to say that you won't get there eventually, you know? So.
I like that. That was good. That was good wisdom. Good wisdom. This is a good one. Question for both of us. Okay. What day or age in your life would you like to relive?
Oh, what day or age in my life would I like to relive? That is a very good question.
Take your time.
Okay.
Here's a good one, isn't it? I'm stuck as well.
It's a good one. Okay.
Is it too hard?
It's a little bit hard.
Is it hard?
Have you got an answer? No.
Yeah, I'm going to pick what age.
Okay.
What age I would like to probably relive.
Okay, you'd like to relive it?
Yeah, like...
Would you like to relive it to change it or just relive it to experience it again?
A bit of both. It's down to you.
Okay.
Depends on your answer. In 3, 2, 1. Not far apart.
What did you say, 25?
No, I said 18.
Oh, no way. I was going to say 17, to be fair.
Was you?
Yeah.
Why did you pick 21?
Because 21, I was just finishing uni and I felt that I had to take a certain path. Yeah. And I just want to kind of relive it to be present in that decision making. Because I think if I was present and I maybe didn't operate from a place of wanting a certain level of security, I think my decision making would have looked different. Yeah.
It's a good answer. I picked 18 years old. If I could live back at the age of 18, obviously 18 for me, I was like fresh out of prison. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that was the opportunity for me to make the right decisions, which either shaped or altered my future. Right. So if I could go back and relive an 18-year-old me, then I probably would have not kept going back to jail because I would have made different decisions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would have relived it as an 18-year-old. Do you know what I'm saying? What do 18-year-olds do? They enjoy their life, innit? Yeah. They're studying or they're working or they're actually growing their life. You know what I mean? At 18, I was at 100 miles an hour. Yeah. Doing too much.
But do you think that would have like cultivated the person you are today if you had kind of not taken the path that you had?
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult as well, because it's like, if I didn't take the path, that who would I have been?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would I have had the like entrepreneurial mindset that I have now, or would I have been just working in Tesco's doing stacking shelves? Would I have been ambitious? Would I have been motivated?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So those are things that I have to question. I'm thinking it.
For sure.
One more, I promise. Okay. So one more, yeah.
I actually quite like this game.
Okay, would you rather be sticky or constantly itchy?
I know what I would be.
Oh, no, are you sure? This is
100%.
Oh, I hate being itchy. But then being sticky is like jarring.
But I know what I've chosen.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to have to be it. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Sticky.
Sticky.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I can't stand being itchy. It's the worst thing in the world.
It's terrible. I used to have eczema, and it's like I'll be scratching my leg for like 5 minutes. I swear to you. And there's like moments where it actually feels good, but then you're just damaging your skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Itchiness is just not fun.
Yes, guys, thank you. You've heard the questions. You've heard our answers. Please comment below. Let us know, what would you rather? So Diane, thank you for coming on to my show.
Thank you so much. First and foremost,
like I said, you are my first female guest, and it's a privilege to have you on here. Tell me about yourself. Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Okay, so firstly, I'm very honoured to be here. So thank you also for having me. A bit about me. So I grew up in North London.
Okay.
I'm originally Ghanaian, born here in the UK, in London. And so I grew up in North London, I would say the majority of my childhood.
Yeah.
And even adulthood, actually.
Yeah.
And I had a really great upbringing.
Yeah.
I fortunately am from a 2-parent household. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 3 years ago now.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But I'm one of 5 siblings, so there's 5 of us in total, including me.
Yeah.
And it was just so fun. Like, I have such great kind of memories of, my childhood, my parents, my siblings. I'm like really, really close with my siblings.
Yeah.
Always have been. We've bickered along the way, don't get me wrong. Exactly. Yeah. But ultimately, we've always been super close.
Yeah. So. Are you the oldest?
I'm the middle child.
Oh, the middle child.
I don't know if I subscribe to any stereotypes surrounding me as a middle child, though. Yeah. Just putting it out there.
What's the stereotype of middle child?
I think they say that they don't get as much attention, so they tend to be, the quieter child and like not so outgoing.
Yeah.
But I actually think that fell onto my other sister.
Yeah.
And I say that because she was born in September, so right at the time where school was starting. Mm-hmm. So like my parents were always super busy. They kind of sometimes forgot her birthday.
Yeah.
And I shared a birthday with my sister. So me and my sister were born on the same day.
That's it.
So I just don't think there was
room. Did you say September?
So my sister was born September, I'm February.
Okay.
And me and my sister share a birthday. Yeah. So when I was 4, she was born.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't no room for them to really forget about me or my sister's birthday. But I think my other sister was just born at such a busy time.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there is a stereotype, maybe she somehow got the middle child syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because where she's older as well, it's kind of like... you know what I mean?
Right.
They look after the babies in the family.
Exactly.
Like. That's good though. It's good that you come from like a wholesome family, like a really togetherness family, a proper unit, because I don't really hear that much. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like both parent growing up, huge family, everyone in the same household. So that's good to hear. How was like school for you? Like when you went into primary school, did you get along? You mixed well with other females? Was your behaviour, was your tomboy? Like, what was you like growing up?
So I would describe myself as quite cheeky.
Yeah.
I I think teachers would say that I was quite easily distracted, you know, the typical child that, you know, doesn't listen, doesn't pay attention, distracts others, yada, yada, yada. But I've always kind of been a socialite, so I've just always enjoyed building relationships, connecting with people. And when I think back to my childhood, like a lot of that stems from that.
Yeah.
So I would say that I was quite sociable when I was younger. I had a good group of friends.
Yeah, that's good.
I've been quite fortunate to always have a good group of friends. And again, I think that stems from my childhood.
Yeah.
When I was going into secondary school, because I did have quite a good group of friends and the teachers were like, you know, I was always saying how easily distracted I was and how talkative I was, etc. My mum was like, you go into secondary school, you'll go by yourself. You will not go with any of your friends. Typical African household.
What was your like education like? Obviously you've got good groups of friends, you're social bee, but what was your like grades like?
So I was quite an average student, I would say. I felt that I had to work hard to get the results that I wanted. I had friends that didn't really need to study and would like just ace their exams. I wasn't fortunate to have that. I would always have to work hard, but I was quite an average student. I done fairly well. I didn't do awful.
You didn't do awful.
Yeah.
So when you got to like sixth form, did you go sixth form?
I went to college. I didn't go sixth form. Oh no, I went to like a sixth form college. Yeah. And then I dropped out and then I went back to like a college.
Why did you drop out?
Because I had a child.
Did you?
Son, I had my son really young. I had him when I was 17.
Okay.
So I kind of took a year out, but I didn't want to take too much time out because I didn't want to fall too behind like my peers.
How much time are you allowed to have out?
I guess there isn't no definite time
isn't
from what I understand.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to fall behind drastically. And I feel as well, like when I was having conversations with my dad, he was very much like, your life is over now. And so I wanted to make it a point of duty to show that,
to prove
exactly. My life isn't over. Like I can still.
Do you know like my little sister, she's 20 now, 19. I always forget her age, but she just had her first child.
Oh, wow.
She's got a boy, his first nephew in the family.
Oh, wow.
But to me, like,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Uncle.
To me, like, as a female, obviously, as a brother, you always want what's best for your sisters, innit? Do you know what I mean? And I've always, like, tried to show my sisters from a young age, like, don't let your life be, like, guided by a man. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Or, like, don't let a man, like, smoke screen you into something. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm your brother. I've been on the roads. I know what's going on out here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So don't let no man try fool you. Like, focus on your education, get your grades, get a good job, and then maybe once you're in a stable position, you can start thinking about man. Obviously, life isn't like that, innit? And things don't go like that. But it's like, I just didn't want my sisters in a position where they have to depend on a man. Even if you have a child, like, I want my sisters to kind of like, you know, be able to still have themselves, because, you know, like self-esteem, confidence, like those things get taken away, especially when, I'd even asked, like, was your partner there with you? Yeah, so he was. Yeah. And again, as well, fortunately, I had my family, and I don't know how I could have done it without any of my family. Yeah. I honestly don't know. When they say it takes a village, like, that's a very real thing. It does. Yeah. And I mean, parenting is a journey in and of itself. And so I think sometimes there are stereotypes around your life being over, you not being able to, you know, attain the things you want to attain and have that sense of security and independence for yourself. Did you, sorry to cut you off. No, that's fine. Did you face a lot of judgment from your peers for being pregnant at 17? Do you know what? It's a very good question. I don't know if I was openly aware to that. Because actually, you know, it was a time where it was
almost, it wasn't unheard of, but it was very taboo to have had a child very young.
Yeah.
And I remember there was maybe 2 or 3 people that I could, friends or girls that I knew who also had children young. But teenage pregnancy was still like quite a foreign concept.
Yeah, foreign thing.
And especially coming from an African household where it's all about like getting your education, getting married, all of that sort of stuff. It was 100% taboo. And those were the kind of conversations, like thinking back, like in reflection, I would have, like, you know, my dad was like, what are you going to do? Like, you know, my mum was like, this is your responsibility. It's not about the man. This is your responsibility. Like, this is all on you. And having that conversation, to me, I was like, that's fine, okay. Like, if it's me, I will do whatever I have to do to give myself and my child the life I want. And I understood that from conception. Like, when I would have those conversations, I just took that on as like, that's my responsibility.
Of course.
You know, and I think there is something that just comes into you. There is just something that like it's like a switch that flicks inside of you when you know you have to just care for somebody else outside of yourself.
Mother in nature.
Exactly. So it's almost like a superpower, you know, that just kind of comes about you. Yeah. And you just do what you've got to do.
So in terms of like your partner, was he there throughout the whole time and very supportive, and like what, how can I ask, like, was he what a father should have been and more at the time?
So I think we were both learning. That's definitely what I would say. And I think that, you know, because family did really support, I feel as though I probably didn't rely on him as much as I probably should have maybe or needed to, because I kind of took on board what my family was saying to me, my parents in particular. I think he could have done better. I think he would agree for himself as well that he could have always done better. And I think also, I think my son would also say the same thing, you know. And with that just comes learning. You just learn and you kind of just, you know, move forward. But I do think it was a journey, and it 100% had its challenges. And, you know, when you're learning something, that comes with conflict as well. So there was also a lot of conflict that came with that journey of like parenting.
What message would you give to any young couples or any young females who are pregnant at this very stage and they are, you know, finding it difficult to get everything together?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I would say that, you know, these decisions aren't the child's fault. And I always believe that the child should be the priority. And as challenging as it is to kind of sometimes put your own emotions aside and what have you, that is what you need to do. You need to prioritise the child, because the fact of the matter is they need both parents. You know, there are obviously unfortunate situations where there isn't 2 parents for whatever reason that is outside of like, you know, conflict, should I say, and you have to manage that obviously. But I would always advise, as best as you can, do your best to find resolution that benefits the child. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good message. Some good pointers. So obviously you had your first son at 17 and then you dropped out of college.
Yeah.
When did you say, you know what, I want to get back into college, I want to start putting myself first and really start pushing yourself, being yourself again?
So I was quite fortunate because I had him in October. So I was in college to finish my first year. And then I took my second year out to, you know, just be a mum, basically. And as I said, I was quite fortunate because it was in alignment with the academic year. He was born in October. The start of term starts in September. So that 9 months, essentially, I want to say it was like 9 months, yeah, gave me the time to be a mum, to enjoy, you know, all the special moments of my little baby at the time. And he will always be my baby, but really enjoy those moments. But I knew like instantly that I was always going back. It was a matter of how long I'll take out. But at that time, I was quite fortunate again because there was a lot of systems in place to support exactly. Yeah. So literally I went back into college the following year.
What did you want to be like growing up? What was like this is who I want to be?
Do you know, I always wanted to be a choreographer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, choreographers?
Like, to make
dancing.
up dance routines and like teach dance and stuff like that. I always wanted to be a choreographer. I was very much into the arts and like singing, dancing, acting. Yeah. My parents put me into like an agency at quite a young age. So I'd done for all the arts, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So I'd done like adverts, I was on TV.
So you've... She kept this on secret. She's famous, basically, guys.
I'm actually not famous.
Diane is famous.
I'm totally not famous.
What kind of adverts did you do?
So there was one with like there was a school advert that I done.
Oh yeah.
With I don't know if you remember, what is his name again? He done a lot of the was it the Red Nose Day? He done quite a few of those adverts.
I remember them adverts.
Yeah.
I don't know who though.
I can't remember his name, which is annoying. Nice. I was on like Nickelodeon.
Wait, hold on, wait. Diane comes in here so demure, so mindful, peaceful. Yeah, now she's talking about she was on Nickelodeon and this. No, that's actually so good. How old was you?
Yeah, it's cool. I want to say I was in secondary school. I think I was in like year 7 or year 8, so maybe about 12 or 13.
It was a young talent, very young talent.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, I was on Nickelodeon and was it Time Out or Time... There was another TV program, TV channel. I think it was called Time Out or...
What kind of...
Trouble. No, it was called Trouble.
What kind of things did it air?
It was like a Nickelodeon.
Oh, is it?
It was like another kind of children's teenage channel. I'm sure it was called Trouble.
I wouldn't know.
And I was on one of the shows, one of the like, they would have like shows that would be in between like other shows, if that makes sense.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, do you remember Trouble? I'm sure it was called Trouble.
That's right.
I mean, I'm a little bit older than
I'm sure someone in the comments will correct you.
Yeah, anyway. Potentially.
So that's good. Like, you was a talented girl from young.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. And it's like, now you've actually said it, I can actually see you. Like, right. No, it actually makes sense. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So that's what you wanted to do. Yeah. You done part of it as a young girl. What did you go on to do next? So
I went on to going into social care.
Okay.
But just because I actually went into dance, so I'd done dance as like a degree. And through that, I was actually chosen and selected from Surrey Council to work with underprivileged teenagers. Yeah. Using dance as kind of like a stimulus to really kind of, how can I put it? They use dance as a tool to kind of manage their issues, I would say, and like find kind of a outlet for the things that they've gone through. And we worked with like a handful of young people. Yeah. And from that, I got quite a bit of recognition through that kind of program. Yeah. And it really kind of made me interested in working with kind of more vulnerable young people. Yeah. Being a teenage mum myself, I felt like I can relate. So I went into social work, kind of like the social care.
And that's what you do now?
I don't do that now. Okay. I mean, I do kind of work in that realm from time to time. I do a bit of work within that space, but I would say predominantly I work on my beauty business. Yeah. When you had your first child, you went back to college. So you studied... Performing arts. Yeah.
And then after that, that's when you went into social care.
Well, when I went to uni as well. And then after university, I went into social care.
And like, just for the viewers, what kind of like troubles did you see like in young people like during your social care? What kind of issues were they having? Like, what kind of situations was you solving?
Yeah, I saw so much, and it was really eye-opening because I didn't only just work with like young children, I also worked with families with complex needs.
Okay.
And so that opened up my eyes to a whole host of problems and, things that people encounter. And, I saw parents that sexually abuse their children.
Yeah.
I saw really serious domestic abuse.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of child abuse. Honestly, there is nothing that I haven't seen. I'll be very honest.
That's crazy to know, because you've got kids as well.
Exactly.
And it's like, how do you detach yourself from your work life, your personal life?
Yeah, it actually probably made me way more protective as a parent.
Yeah.
Because what I understood is actually nothing is yours here on earth. Like, if you don't behave responsibly as a parent, the government will take your child.
Yeah. So
your children aren't even yours if you don't look after them properly. And it was really eye-opening to me. I was like, it actually scared me that, I had cases whereby there was like, maybe some abuse at home.
Yeah.
Physical abuse.
Yeah.
And culturally, so, I don't know about you, but me, I got beaten. Mm-hmm. Okay. I felt a hand or two once upon a time. And so I had a case one time where it was the child was from an African household and had a friend who was in care. And that friend was like, oh my gosh, being in care is amazing. And so she reported her parents abusing her, but like they really embellished the abuse. So they went into care. And that's just by way of a friend at school.
So she wasn't actually being abused?
I guess she was being abused because they are not going to just take a child for no reason.
Yeah.
But they definitely embellished the truth. And it was just so eye-opening that even by way of a peer, that can happen, you know?
I think obviously it comes down to like mainly like safeguarding.
Right.
Obviously, but it's true, like I think maybe the government systems or like the social service systems needs to not just take people, maybe investigate a bit more than they usually do.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, if I've given birth to someone, that's my child. And if I need extra support, please support me. But then don't turn it into something that it doesn't need to be turned into, just so that it can become a tick box exercise.
Yeah, for sure.
Or something like that.
No, absolutely.
Or like it becomes a numbers game.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this year we've taken X amount of children away from their parents. It's not enough. We're not doing our job. Next year we need to hit targets, take away this amount. Or like, do you know what I mean? There's always an imbalance or a balance of like, because obviously it's a job at the end of the day. You gotta remember as well, like, I always say this, there's buildings like prisons and like social services and things like that, it's people's livelihood. They go to work, they earn that money, they go home. So they might have to exaggerate or like put down more numbers, otherwise everyone's going to be out of a job.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of cases that are really unfortunate, you know, and I don't even think that they don't do their due diligence. I do. I just think it's sometimes the length of time it takes.
It takes, yeah. And
I think sometimes things kind of go unnoticed, or maybe things aren't done as seamless as it should have been done. So I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a challenging system.
Yeah.
But
your boys are lucky. Your boys are lucky because you've got another child.
Yeah, I've got 2 boys. Yeah.
How old is he?
So my youngest is 12.
He's 12.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that your boys are lucky that you've had a vision of seeing another side. So then when you're going home, you can advise them and actually talk to them from like a point of view that you've actually seen.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Which is good. I think it's important that if you're giving anyone advice, especially your own children, I think the advice always drops down better when you've seen things in your own life.
Absolutely, or experienced it for yourself.
Yeah, or experienced it yourself.
Yeah.
So how is your boys? Like, obviously, are they into like sports? Are they like active? Like, how do you make sure that your boys stays out of trouble, if you like? Yeah,
so I think I've always thought that any child is great for them to have a discipline, be it music, sports, theatre, whatever it is. I think it's really important for a child to have a discipline because it just keeps them focused in some way, shape or form. So yeah, both my boys are really into sports.
Yeah.
They are big football heads. They both enjoy playing football. My youngest is actually, I would say he enjoys a lot of other things as well. Like he enjoys rugby, he enjoys basketball. Yeah. He's very much overall sports guy, but football, he would say, is his favourite. But it's quite nice to see that he enjoys like other sports as well. My eldest was very just football heavy, and still plays football now. He plays for a semi-pro team, which he really enjoys, and then he coaches as well. So yeah, they're very big into sports.
That's good. Like I like the way, like when you talk about your boys, like you have this like smile, like this positive expression across your face. And I'm sure when you were 17 and pregnant, you didn't imagine or think that you could have been in a position where you're smiling and happy and so proud of your boys and who they've become. So well done.
Thank you.
For raising 2 boys.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a boy and I know how important it is to have like guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've got a lot of people that I do know that hasn't had that type of guidance in their life, and it's like mentally they're just not there with it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it starts off as a little boy. It starts off like how your parents deal with you. It's just real life, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And then society comes in secondary.
Yeah.
But primarily it's the parents that shapes the child.
Yeah.
And I think for like a lot of parents in today's society, they got different challenges than what you probably had when you had your child.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got social media now. Right. We've got huge platforms. We've got like 13-year-olds getting famous on Twitch. Yeah. Like, because they're gaming all night, all day. Do you know what I'm saying? What advice would you give young people that are just glued to their tablets, like not coming out the house, you know, social media, the hype, everything?
I mean, social media is a really big one. And I say that because, you know, especially my eldest, he's really kind of, I feel like social media has impacted him in so much ways. Yeah. But the one thing I would say is it is not real. Social media is really an illusion. Yeah. People can show whatever they want, and it's a blessing and a curse. I think we could utilize social media to our benefit and for positivity. 100%, I think, is a brilliant tool to do what it does, which is share information and, you know, allow accessibility to that information. Yeah. But it could also be really, really challenging. Like, you know, when you build big platforms, you kind of have to be this particular person, you have to show up, you have to, you know, do things even when you don't want to. And don't get me wrong, that is also a part of life, you know. But I think the pressure that surrounds social media is very, very heavy. Yeah. And because it is predominantly people's highlight reels, it's not realistic. Yeah. Nobody can live this glorious life all day, every day. Yeah. It's just not sustainable. Yeah. And so seeing that and having that consistently, across social media becomes really problematic. Yeah, because then you question yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, my life isn't great. Look at this person doing this, look at that person doing that. And you're seeing hundreds of thousands of people living their absolute best lives when it's not real, you know?
That's true.
I mean, back in my day, people would have conversations, people would pick up the phone.
Yeah.
We would send voice notes. The in-person level of communication was really, really like powerful.
Yeah.
And actually it speaks to human psychology. Like we thrive off of human connection.
Yeah.
Like on a one-to-one basis, on an in real life basis.
Yeah.
And what social media has done is it's taken that away.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're seeing a rise in like mental health issues and people feeling lonely and people feeling less than, because social media has taken away that in real life tangible connection that we innately need as human beings.
You literally said that so perfect. Do you know what I mean? There's people who surround their whole life around social media.
Right.
To create it to be the best channel, the best content ever, but then what they create off the back of that is a huge fan base who is following their lifestyle.
Right.
Like literally following, like, you know, like some people might have favourite TikTokers or favourite YouTubers or whatever, and they follow everything they do, so then they start thinking, I want to be like them, I want to do what they're doing. They might be eating a meal. You're like, I want to eat what they're eating.
Yeah.
Like it kind of becomes like copycat, and everyone wants to be like the next person rather than being themselves.
Exactly.
Or being individual. So yeah, social media is a problem, but obviously as a mother, like I'm sure you encourage getting out the house, more exercising, meeting your friends face to face, and not having huge group chats.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that. And even like Snapchat is the problem. Snapchat is so dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I definitely encourage my children to, number one, share if there's anything that isn't like, is suspect, it's a bit suspicious, to share it. And I definitely encourage them to do things like properly in real life. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I've definitely been probably a very overprotective mother.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would always like drop them to places where they need to go. I'll pick them up. Like I always want to know where they are. But now, for example, my eldest drives and he's kind of got his own independence. I feel so much like better with that. But you know, with my younger one, I've learned to see how things have changed as well, because for me, the gaming side of things isn't so bad, because I see that that's the way nowadays children will connect with their friends. Yeah. So as opposed to them once upon a time going out to like play Knockdown Ginger, they'll play Roblox together. And that's fine for me, because I feel like they're still connecting, they're still talking, they're still having their conversations. But I do think it's really important once in a while that they do go kick a ball in the park, go, you know, have some like real tangible interaction.
Like stay active.
Yeah.
Basically.
And that's why I think things like football and like whatever it may be, acting or, you know, gymnastics or whatever it is really important, because at least once or twice a week they're getting out there, they're kind of mixing with other peers outside of school as well. And they're kind of cultivating teamwork. They're cultivating kind of, you know.
I've said that before in my podcast. Like, it's important that parents allow their children to do more like after school club stuff, group stuff, like getting out of the house, not just playing football in the estate with the mandem.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, they're a gang.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Like real life. But yeah, so how old was you when you had your second? Do you mind saying your age?
No, I don't mind. I mean,
no, you know, like,
do I mind? I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't have to say age. Yeah.
No, I don't mind saying how old I was when I had him. So I think I was 25.
Okay.
Hold on, 17. I think I was 25 or 26, I think.
Okay, so it was a lot more mature.
I was older. And the thing is, having a child changes you.
Yeah.
And once you have one, mother mode is activated, you know? So that's the amazing thing about the body. Once your body has gone through something once, it has the memory to continue that thing again, you know? So being a mum second time round was super easy. Maybe super easy is a slight exaggeration.
Super easy.
It's a slight exaggeration. But it was, you know, it was kind of all I knew. Yeah. So it didn't, it just kind of flowed.
You embraced it more than, you already went through the hardship.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now it was just like, I'm going to actually enjoy my pregnancy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's good though. And did you have the same level of support that you did with your first child?
Yeah, absolutely. And probably, maybe I would say probably more. Yeah. But it was nice because it was almost like my opportunity to like really, it's not like I've always enjoyed motherhood, but it was just a whole different experience, you know? And also for my eldest to have a brother and like that interaction and that difference, having 2 children instead of 1, it's honestly such a different experience, you know? And I mean, obviously I've only got 2, but I've got friends and family members that have more than 2, and each child gives you a different experience as you know, evolve as a mother. So yeah.
You spoke earlier, you said you'd lost your dad. Do you want to talk a bit more about that in terms of how it's made you feel, how you feel now, how it feels to lose a loved one? Yeah. How do you get on with his loss? Yeah.
I mean, grief is something that is just not linear. And losing a parent is really, really difficult. I was always like a bit of a daddy's girl. So losing my dad was really, really difficult. Mainly because it's one of those things that you feel like will never happen, but it's inevitable, right? We're all gonna die. None of us is gonna live forever. And it was also my first proper experience of grief to somebody that's close to me, and you know, someone that is a prominent figure. And the thing is, my relationship with my dad, as much as I was a daddy's girl, has had its ups and downs. As every, you know, I'm sure most parent and child relationships. And when I had my eldest, my dad was like, I'll be at your graduation. And he travelled, and I just didn't speak to him for so long. And that was really painful. Like, it was difficult to deal with, because actually I felt like the main reason for my graduation was actually to prove my dad wrong, you know, when he was like, your life is over. So the fact that he wasn't part of that journey, and so much happened in the time that we kind of lost contact, that I needed my dad for. And I felt that he probably thought that, you know, he's done his best in growing up his children. So when we got back in touch, it was something that I had said to myself, you know what, you don't have all the answers. You don't have, like, how I look at parenting and just life in general is you build your house as best as you can with the tools that you have. And so that's exactly how I look at my dad. I feel like he parented as well as he could with the tools that he had. And so I made a decision to make the best of the relationship that I had with my dad. So when he passed, I mean, I was grateful because I had a great relationship with my dad. But when he passed, it was just so final. You know, it's just a final thing that you just don't really expect.
Would you say he's the most influential person in your life?
I wouldn't say he's the most influential person in my life. but there was definitely kind of threads of influence for sure.
Yeah. And how did you, well, if you have, how do you deal with his passing? Like, how do you get through that every day?
I definitely think time allows for things to kind of, for things to be a bit easier. Yeah. And they do say time is a healer, and I can understand why that is such a powerful phrase, because it absolutely is. But honestly, if I'm completely honest, I attest it to my faith. Yeah. And I believe that the word of God has got everything that we need. Yeah. And there are some scriptures that have really, really kept me like grounded. Yeah. And have taken away a level of grief that had I not had that, I don't think, all I can say from my experience, I don't know how I would have kind of managed it.
I would say, do you want to share those scriptures? I don't know if you know off by heart.
Yeah, so there's one that speaks of, and maybe you can, I will say at high level, and then you can probably insert it. But there's a scripture about the body being a tent, and essentially we will, when we pass, we're sleeping, and like we will like meet again, essentially. Yeah. So there's that scripture, and then there are scriptures that like suffering may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So there will always be joy. Yeah. Suffering does not endure forever. You know, there will always be joy, one way or another. So that's another scripture. And also that God is close to the brokenhearted. So having that comfort that, yes, you know, you're sad and you're low and you're really down, but God is always close to the brokenhearted. So there's just comfort in that as well.
Have you always been religious?
I was born and bred a Christian. Yeah. And I felt as though I enjoyed being within the church because I made friends, and, you know, it was like a part of our routine as a family. But I came to know Christ for myself when I think I was about 25. It was in 2013. Yeah. And I literally committed my life to Christ for myself because I learned to have my own relationship with God. It wasn't based on routine. It wasn't based on habits. It wasn't based from, like, you know, having to go to church with my mom.
Do you remember what that turning point was? Like, what made you like dive deep into your religion? Like, was there like something that happened and you thought, you know what, I need to get back on I need to get back to God?
Do you know, if I'm honest, I feel God was just pulling on my heartstrings for a while. And what I found really fascinating growing up in church was when people will hear scripture, they will, you know, the way people would praise God, the way people will share the word of God. Yeah. I found it so fascinating, their passion for the things of Christ. Yeah. And I used to think, I've read the Bible like many a time, and I just didn't get that same conviction. Yeah. And I just found it really, really amazing. And one time I was at a service and the message was like so powerful, and it convicted me in the same way that I had experienced or seen other people be convicted. Yeah. And it was at that moment I said, I have to give my life to Christ. Yeah. And from that point, that was the turning point for me.
That's good to hear, because I feel like everyone in life needs an anchor.
For sure.
Like something to hold you down, something for you to reflect on. Yeah. Use as a reference, something that is going to keep you like focused. Yeah. And you're a woman of God, and that's what you use to get you through tough times and the good times. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? For sure. So what is your business?
So it's an online beauty store. Okay. Currently we sell a range of different products that cater to curly and textured hair types. So we're essentially a retailer. We stock different brands. And yeah, that's what we are currently. And the goal is to branch out into like more beauty, more skincare, makeup.
What made you get into that?
So funny story, it was actually, again, my faith in God is actually also, it's also because I've experienced God in a way that, in ways that it could only be God. Yeah. Like it's not Diane, it is 100% God.
Yeah.
And this is why when I speak about faith, it really is about relationship. It's not about religion. And so basically I was at church one day and we were all having a conversation about hair and our frustrations, about, you know, what the market looks like.
What's your frustrations?
The frustrations are, you'll go into the shop and unfortunately the products that you want are on dusty shelves. You're being served by people that don't look like you, so they have no idea how to advise you, what products you may need, your hair concerns. You don't have that wasn't an experience that we would be familiar with. Yeah. And so we were really frustrated by that. And so we were having a discussion and we had the same lived experiences with our hair experiences. So I was like, I'm going to open up a shop.
And hair is obviously a woman's favourite.
It's a
do you know what I'm saying?
Huge part of our identity. Absolutely. It's a huge part of our identity. The first thing that people will notice is your hair. Yeah. You know, when you even have issues, the first thing that's impacted more time than none is your hair, for both men and women, you know. So hair is actually a huge part of people's identity, not just even in women, but in men as well. I'm sure you would attest to this, that like many conversations take place in the barbershop.
I miss my young hair though. I used to I used to have the best hairline.
Really?
You know, like it was sharp. Like, you know, like I tried to do the whole wave thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I used to love like taking pride in my hair.
Yeah, it's a big
I had long hair as well.
Really?
Yeah. In Joe, I had like...
How long was long?
You know, the man that would always gas it off and be like, my hair was long.
But really it was that.
No, you know, it is. Alright, cool. Let me be honest, that from a plait hair, I can pull it down. And I'll probably about a day, you get me? I had a little ASAP Rocky thing going on.
So how did you get your hair done in jail? What did that look like? And what sort of hair products was you using?
Oh my God, hair products. I was using like, obviously different gels has different products.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
what age was you around this, sorry?
So I've been gel 3 times and every time I go to gel, I grow my hair.
Okay.
I went as a young offender before 18, in my 20s and late 20s.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? But every time I'm in prison, I think, all right, I'm going to grow my hair. Do you know why? Because it's like, so imagine being a girl, yeah? Actually, no, because...
I am a girl. Imagine being a girl. I am a girl.
I was going to say, imagine being a girl in prison. But,
that's scary to me.
So imagine being in prison. Remember, in prison, you move around. Like, just because you're in one prison, you're not going to stay there forever. So imagine having a barber that cuts your hair and you're getting used to him. You've been there for 6 months. He's cutting your hair. You like the way you look. One day they come to you and say you're going to another prison.
But is that how it happens?
That's how it happens.
So, wait, hold on. If you go to prison, you may not be at that prison for the whole time.
No, because there's different prisons for different prisoners, and there's different prisons for different
offences and stuff.
Offences, but also your status.
Oh.
Like whether you're high risk, medium risk, low risk. So when you go into prison, you usually go into a remand prison, which holds all types of risks.
Okay.
Medium, low and high. When you get sentenced, your sentence is then...
determines where you go.
Determines where you're going to go. If you get a low sentence, some people go straight to DCAT, which is open prison. If you get like a 4, 5, 6, you usually go to a CCAT prison, which is medium risk. If you're on remand for a long period of time, you're going to be in a BCAT, which is high risk and medium risk prisoners mixed together. But if you get sentenced and you get a crazy numbers, then you're going to go to a high-risk prison. All prisons are the same in terms of the prison that you're staying in. It's like you're just renting a room. Do you get what I mean? If they feel like you either pose a risk or your sentence, they write you out like tasks and things that on your oasis and things like that. If certain prisons can't deliver what you need to like for courses, so then they'll transfer you to another prison that does deliver what you need. Okay. But we're talking about hair. So imagine being in prison, you've got your barber, he cuts your hair once a month, once every 2 weeks.
Do you have a barber in prison?
The man, them are barbers.
Oh, wow. They just train themselves to be barbers.
Yeah, some people come in there, I can cut hair. These hands, they're just learning. They can't cut no one's hair. Do you know what I'm saying? Some people are already barbers from the roads and they've come prison. So they take on that trade in jail. Do you know what I mean? And some people do the course. You can do a course in prison, barbering, but not every prison offers that service. Right. But so imagine being a prisoner, you got a haircut from your guy, and then they come to you and say, right, you're going to the Mount, a whole nother job. So then what are you going to do?
Don't know.
You're going to have to find another prisoner who cuts hair.
Yeah, and does hair, because your hair was long.
And does hair. So then you're going to go to that job. They're going to put their hands on you. You know, I got this thing of like people touching your hair. Like you can't just let anyone touch your hair. You know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, you're thinking, bro, this is long. Bear man just keep trimming up my hair. One week I got a good hairline. The week after that, I don't have a good hairline. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'd rather just grow my hair so then it cuts all of that stress and
But
hassle.
didn't you still need to get shape up? Or not really?
No, trust me. When I'm growing my hair, I'm letting it grow. Like,
really?
Just do your thing.
So what did you do with it? Did you like just tie it back or?
Tie it back, yeah. It just about made a ponytail. So, but no, I'll tie it back. I used to wash my hair. Okay. This and that.
With what products?
I can't remember, but they got things like African Pride and things like that.
Okay.
They got the African Prides. They've got, but not every gel has this. So I'm saying products that I've had to probably get from a different gel and travel along with.
Right. Can you not get people to send you stuff?
No.
Really?
No, you can't do that. Imagine that, getting a bottle of shampoo and it's not shampoo.
I thought you had a budget to get stuff or something.
Yeah, so there's a shopping list.
Is it just clothes?
No, there's a shopping list where we've got toiletries, food, and prison issue things. But you can't personally send me shampoo. Oh. I have to buy it off this list.
Oh, okay.
And this list only.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And if you do send me shampoo, they're only going to throw it away.
Okay.
Or put it in my property. The thing is with prisons, which I've realised as well, is that they don't cater for Afro-Black and Caribbean hair.
I can imagine, yeah. They
have like a standard of like an African Pride.
Wow.
It's either they've got that or they've got Dax. And you know, like the styling one as well, you know that? That's all they've got. So
would you say that that's the prison system as a whole, or would you say that they don't really cater towards hair in its entirety? So would you say like white people?
I think they cater. Do you know what it is? If you're in London, if you're in a prison in London, you're basically more likely to have the black hair products that you need than if you went to a prison, not even that far, just a little bit outside of London.
Really?
The dynamics change. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to that culture. Yeah. They don't know about that type of stuff. My friend Snoop, big up Snoop, he used to do my hair. Even though he used to do it a bit tight. You know, he's pulling out my edges and that. But so my friend, he used to do my hair. And if he couldn't do my hair, I'll do my hair myself. And I just had to learn. I learned how to do my own hair. Wow. I didn't do it neat or anything, but I just plaited it so I just kept it in. Yeah. I think Afro-Black people's hair really needs a service like yourself that's going to cater for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because a lot of...
Absolutely.
Like, man can't put L'Oreal. You probably can. Like,
I mean, brands are becoming slightly more inclusive, sure. But this was the genesis of why I started my business. It was essentially to provide more accessibility to a wide range of products that are good for curly and textured hair types, quality products that actually work well on curly and textured hair type.
How long have you been running your business for?
So for 4 years now.
4 years?
Yeah.
If I want to go onto your website, like where can I find you?
So it's at theafrobeautycompany.com.
Yeah.
You just go on there, you see a range of different products. We do something called curl chat, so you can send us a message and we can help you with your hair needs or hair concerns.
Yeah, I'm guessing you take pride in it because you've got like a short bob.
Yeah.
This and that. How long have you had that in for?
So I cut my hair earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
And then I went away, I went to Ghana, and then I got braids, and then I had to take my hair out, obviously, so I just thought, let me cut it again. But yeah, I think hair is a real expression of, you know, your identity.
Who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the beautiful thing about hair is it grows. You can change it as and when you want. You know, you don't have to keep the same style. You can have a staple style and go back to it and switch it up. We can be really diverse with it, and I think that's something I love. What
would you say has been like a major challenge or setback?
I would say one of the challenges have been that as a small emerging business, it's quite difficult to have access to the bigger brands, especially when we're serving quite directly their demographic.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's been really one of the biggest challenges.
I feel like also as a black woman starting up a business, I feel like we definitely need to support each other a lot more. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you only cater for women?
No, cater for men and women.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear because I've been trying to get something back. I'm trying to get something back.
Yeah. Men, it's all about their hairline and their beards. That is what it is.
I want to ask you, like, what is your biggest fear as a woman when it comes to raising your sons?
Oh, I think my biggest fear would be that they get caught up in the wrong friendship groups that deter them away from the principles and the things that I've taught them.
Yeah.
That's probably what has been my biggest fear. But I mean, I guess fortunately I have one that hasn't, and the second one is on a good trajectory at the moment. So by God's grace, they will stay grounded, but it's the outside influences that I have no control of. That is probably my biggest fear.
It's not easy growing up sons in this climate.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because you probably worry about, am I giving them enough love?
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're ticking all the boxes just so that they don't go out and look for something that you're not giving them out on the roads, like a replacement.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And I always admire a woman who can raise sons into kings. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy.
Of course.
Like, it's really not easy. And like the magnets and the universe pulls boys, it's like it just tries to take us in. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's good to hear that from a young mum that you was to who you are now. It's like you learn, you adapted quickly, and you raised these two boys who potentially have very good football careers.
Yeah.
You're going to be like one of their mums. Like,
exactly. I'm able to be a wag, but hopefully I could be like a mother's whatever.
They'll probably give you the Cullingham.
Exactly.
Taking them to football. I'm very intrigued in always getting a woman's point of view on things, because I feel like as men, we're always like in our own little thing. Yeah. And it's like anything a woman says, it's like, do you know what I mean? I hear her, but this is what do you know what I mean? And it's like, women has a voice too. Your voice matters. And it's like, your life ain't as different to ours in terms of like trials and tribulations.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just a bit different, because I know there's a lot of females out there that's also like been through some stuff and had to still come through the other side, but their stories ain't heard. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because women like to be a bit more preserved. They like to keep everything in. They don't like to show the other sides of their life, because a woman don't want to be judged. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Going back to like what we was talking about, social media, in terms of how women are perceived, or like how women want to look nowadays in our time, I feel like women are doing a lot for a male's attention or like to get a male's approval. What would you say on that?
I mean, I think it's a kind of huge topic. I feel as though people do things both for attention, but also maybe to cover and to be happier with certain insecurities that they have.
Yeah.
And that's outwardly shows in one way or another. So I would say that, I don't know, I think it's always important to do things for yourself and not for other people, because, you know, everything is subject to change is what I always say. So there's a world where you might be dating somebody, they may like something in a certain way, you adapt yourself for that, and then it doesn't work out. What then, you know? So I think it's always important to do things for yourself. Beauty standards are forever changing. Like when I was growing up, the beauty standards were like thin eyebrows, being quite slim and slender. Then we've had the kind of thick era where it's like, you know, big bum, tiny waist, you know, and just the beauty standards are forever.
I feel like it's difficult though, like for a guy nowadays to be able to determine if a woman is genuine with her love or for her love.
Yeah.
Or is she with me because when I moved to her initially, I had a good car, I had good clothes, and that's what appealed to her more than who I was behind those things.
Right.
So what would you say? I mean, it's a difficult question. It is a difficult question to ask, but I feel like women are now like doing a lot more, but it's like for money or like for benefit or for profit, rather than for genuine
like to serve and to
please. Like, do you believe in that? Like, do you believe that women should serve their man, or are you like, what's your opinion on it?
I think relationships I think when it comes to relationships, it really is about both those people. Yeah. And I think relationship is to be of service. Yeah. I think to be a wife and to be a husband is to serve one another. Yeah. And I think, you know, unfortunately, we've kind of subscribed to this whole narrative to a degree of like, women should just be looked after, and like women should be submissive, and men should be this and men should be that. But you know, the ultimate goal is to love one another and to be there for each other and to show up for each other. Yeah. And that comes with its challenges, you know. I think sometimes relationships will be 50-50, sometimes they will be 80-20, sometimes they'll be 100-0, you know, but it's about being there for one another at the core, you know. And people don't manage conflict. People don't want to manage conflict. People don't want to resolve. People don't want to stay, because unfortunately society shows us that there's always something better.
There's always something better. So let me ask you a question. We go on a date. Yeah.
You're asking me out already?
I've asked you out. I've asked you out. You said yes. Yeah. Yeah. We've gone to this place. And I left my bank card at home. Genuinely. Like, I don't have no money on me. Yeah. I'm sorry. My bank card's at home. I'll pay you back. How do you feel?
So in 2024, that can't really happen. Just saying. Just saying.
That's not even an excuse anymore.
I don't think it's an excuse. But I definitely am quite traditional. So I definitely still believe in tradition. I believe in pursuit. And I believe that that men should pursue. Yeah. I agree. And so by way of that, I think if a man is saying, I'm going to take you out, just like if I say I'm going to take you out, I'm not expecting you to cover that. I'm saying it's on me, I'm taking you out, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. But if I'm inviting you to it, I'm the one that is going to fulfill whatever the invitation is, right?
Do you believe that, do you believe in 50-50?
It depends on the context.
Okay.
So if it's a case where I don't subscribe to the 50-50 because I do believe...
I love the way you say like subscribe.
No,
like, I don't subscribe to it.
Yeah, because I think it's, number one, it's about context. And number two, if we're talking about something like marriage, there is no yours or mine. It's ours.
Yeah.
You know? So again, it's this narrative of the man should do X, the woman should do Y. But when it comes to finances, everyone's like, the money is ours. It's not yours or it's mine.
I bet there's a lot of people that's going to be commenting otherwise.
Maybe. But I just don't think relationships are you or me. It's we.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they are the things that we should focus on. It's not about you or me. It's about us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difference in those kind of conversations.
Yeah. No, thank you. I mean, I wish I could have you on here for longer.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we can definitely unbox a lot more conversations. Would you like to promote your business again?
For sure. So you can find any of my services at theafrobeautycompany.com. It's the same across socials, The Afro Beauty Company. And if you want to kind of follow me and my journey, you can find me at Being Diane on all social platforms. And I also have a weekly newsletter as well that you could subscribe to on Substack. It's called Being Diane, but all the links are in my Instagram bio.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you for coming on to GloTalks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please take this wine. You know, I think this hit me, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I think this actually hit. I'm not drinking again.
12.9%.
Is that what it is?
I think it's even less than that, maybe.
Oh, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Women, females, queens, I want you to understand that there is a platform for you here to come and share your story, no matter what you've been through. I love to hear trials and tribulations from a woman's point of view, what women go through. The lovely Diane has just shared some knowledge here with us. We spoke about her faith, we spoke about her kids. I'm sure there'll be plenty more women out there who can connect with Diane. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my channel, GloTalks, Train the Body, Train the Mind.